The education sector is the incubator within which the future of any country is shaped and fashioned with the proposed level of diversity to be embedded in its social and economic portfolios. Therefore, the success of this sector ensures socio-economic sustainability. Hence, there was concern for the sector as it received a great jolt in March 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic reached the shores of the twin island nation of Antigua and Barbuda. In efforts to safeguard the lives of the 18,000 plus students and over 1,600 teachers, schools were officially closed on 16 March 2020. But when there is a crisis, effective leadership is needed to provide guidance, giving direction and support.
I extend greetings to all our stakeholders in education. I pause to recognize our boys and girls, men and women who are currently enrolled in educational institutions across Antigua and Barbuda. I take time to salute and greet our principals and other administrators, teachers, lecturers, ancillary staff across the education landscape. Certainly, the COVID-19 pandemic is not one that any education system could have prepared for in advance. In fact, to date, the goalpost keeps moving as new discoveries are made concerning the virus. In spite of the level of uncertainty for the past 11 months, I have witnessed sheer determination from principals, deputy principals, teachers, and many of our stakeholders to keep the wheels of education spinning, determined to ensure that our boys and girls receive the education which was promised to them. Teachers prepared and delivered worksheets to homes. Care packages were also given to the most vulnerable. Students were engaged online as teachers at their own expense, using their very own internet service from their homes to reach children and engage students. We did not reach everyone during the shutdown, but this by no means signals failure. What it does is that it allows us to adopt new measures and to further strengthen what we have. Already, I have seen new best practices emerging. Teachers taking initiative, becoming more creative, and teaching and learning, the teaching and learning environment becoming a more dynamic place as we look to the future and further integration of technology. This integration will allow for the realization of differentiated instructions so that we can better cater to the learning preferences of all our students. As we continue to make strides daily, ensuring that the relevant protocols are adhered to ensure the health and safety of all, it is also important, that special efforts are made to make sure that the psychosocial needs of both students and teachers are addressed. One of my greatest fears as Director of Education is teacher burnout. This is a threat to the success that we work towards. I therefore admonish all to stay safe and let us continue to come together to face this challenge and to collaboratively overcome it. I am indeed humble and proud to be an educator.
Schools have changed. This was obvious when the first phase of the opening happened in May 2020, when the fifth form students were allowed access to face-to-face instructions. Similarly, on 7 September 2020, when schools resumed in its entirety, students were introduced and are required to adhere to a number of COVID protocols to include physical distancing, hand sanitization, temperature checks, and the wearing of masks. Students are now seated further apart and have to remain in a travel bubble daily. But how challenging is this new normal? We may not have a definite answer, but from where we stand, it is obvious that the effects of COVID-19 pandemic will be lasting for a number of generations. There is no sign that the dust will clear just yet, but as a resilient people, standing in solidarity together, we will stand, and we will emerge better.